Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Suharno and my colleague Dedi Suryana. We are from Universitas Pendidikan Indonesia. The title of our presentation today is Bridging Language Barriers in Law Enforcement, Identifying English Language Needs of Indonesian Police Officers. Ladies and gentlemen, it's a pleasure to share our findings here at the 9th International Conference on Language, Literature, Culture, and Education. So, ladies and gentlemen, globalization has significantly reshaped the way public service sectors operate, and law enforcement is no exception. Police officers are increasingly required to engage with foreign nationals, especially in areas where tourism, international trade, and migrations are growing. In this context, English has emerged as the global lingua franca for professional communication, including in law enforcement. Our research was situated at a district police unit in West Java. Although it is not a major tourism center, it has, industrial zones, transit roads, and local tourism sites, making encounters with foreign citizens are regular. If not daily, it is a reality for the officers. However, despite this growing need, there is currently no structured English training designed specifically for Indonesian police officers. Most officers rely on improvised English, gestures, or translation tools, no formal support from training programs or institutional policies. Therefore, this gap inspired our study to understand what English skills police officers truly need and how training can be developed to meet those needs. Ladies and gentlemen, our study is grounded in the field of English for specific purposes, and it emphasizes task-based and role-specific communication where language instructions is tailored to the actual duties and responsibilities of professionals. In law enforcement, the SP focuses on scenarios such as giving directions, taking reports, explaining procedures, and responding to emergencies. This requires not just general English, but purposeful situation-specific language training. And to determine the right training content, we use a needs analysis framework, which includes target situation analysis, present situation analysis, and learning needs. Several studies have actually applied this model internationally, but must focus on police officers in urban or high tourism zones. On the other hand, at the district level here in Indonesia remains very limited. So therefore, our study aims to fill the gap by focusing on work in cross-language situations, but have minimal English support, so training. Ladies and gentlemen, the study used a qualitative case study design to explore the real-world English communication needs of police officers. Now, we involved 3 participants from our key units. 4 key units: the Integrated Police Service Center, Traffic, Criminal Investigation, and Intelligence. And then we collected data through 4 methods: semi-structured interviews with 18 officers and 2 senior officials, structured questionnaires answered by all 3 officers, participatory observations where we directly observe language use during public service interactions, and document analysis of SOPs, complaint forms, and training records. All qualitative data were analyzed thematically using Brown and Clark's method, allowing us to identify recurring patterns and practical challenges. Ethical procedures were strictly followed through informed consent, and participants' anonymity and confidentiality throughout the study. Although English is not used daily, officers reported interacting with foreign nationals about 2-3 times per month. These encounters typically occurred in public service situations. 93% of officers had used English to give directions, 67% in traffic-related matters, and 55% in handling lost reports, such as stolen passports or wallets. During our observations, we noted that communication was mostly nonverbal or minimal, often involving gestures, single words, or simple phrases. I mean, officers frequently relied on Google Translate or sought help from colleagues with slightly better English. This reflects what the genuine effort officers make to assist and help in their ability to do so confidently and efficiently in English. Ladies and gentlemen, our findings revealed three major categories of barriers that prevent of effective English communication among officers. First, linguistic barriers, and then the second, uh, you know, psychological barriers. Yeah. The third is structural barriers. Like currently, there is no institutional English training available to the officers, and no standard operating procedures or SOPs specifically guiding interactions with foreign nationals. So these factors combined result in situations where surface is slowed and communications becomes fragmented. The issue is not unwillingness, but rather a lack of tools, training, and systematic support to communicate effectively. Despite the challenges, we found a strong interest and motivations among officers to improve their English. In fact, 87% of the respondents were highly interested in participating in English training, especially if the training is practical and directly related to their job tasks. Yeah, and they requested task-based modules that simulate real-life politicizing situations, like giving the direction, taking loss report, or managing emergencies involving foreign nationals. Therefore, based on the findings, we proposed 10-week English for specific purposes training program divided into 4 modules. You can see the modules here. It's module 1, module 2, and module 3, module 4. Yeah, the emphasis of all the modules of the course is on building confidence, legal vocabulary, and situational fluency. And this kind of contextual training would be far more effective than general classroom instructions. Ladies and gentlemen, when we reflect on the finding, one of the clearest theme is the mismatch between what officers are expected to do and what they are currently able to do in English. While English interactions may not happen every day, they often occur in high-stake situations, such as during an emergency or when filing an official report for foreign visitors. Unfortunately, the linguistic, psychological, and structural barriers we identify don't exist in isolation. They are mutually reinforcing. For example, a lack of vocabulary and grammar leads to low confidence, which in turn leads to the avoidance of English use. And this avoidance means that there is no natural opportunity for improvement. Without formal support or structured training, this cycle continues. To break that cycle, we argue that training alone is not enough. It must be supported by institutional change, including official SOPs for multilingual service, regular training schedules, and strategic partnership with language education providers. Ladies and gentlemen, to conclude, this study offers 3 key findings. The first one is police officers clearly need English for their for high impact interactions. Yeah. And then the second, we identified multiple barriers, linguistic, psychological, and structural barriers, yeah, for them. And third, we found a strong and genuine demand for task-based ESP training, not general English, but practical context-specific module that reflect real policing duties. Based on these findings, you offer several recommendations. The first one, develop contextualized ASP training programs. Yeah. Then the second, introduce multilingual SOPs and documentations. And the third, build collaborations with local universities or language institutes to deliver training sustainably. And then the last one is leverage technology such as mobile learning applications or curated translation tools to support language learning. And finally, of course, to conduct longitudinal research to monitor how training impacts performance and confidence over time. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for your attention, and we look forward to your question. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.